Hello, I'm Mark Dolan, and this is Fake News, Talk Radio's brand new quiz show that takes liberty with the truth, rides roughshod over the facts, and ignores the will of the people. As usual, you can hear us on Talk Radio, but you can also watch the show on Facebook and YouTube right now. And what a week it's been. First up, shocking news. Cricket legend turned TV presenter Freddie Flintoff has survived a terrible car crash, or as we like to call it, top gear after Jeremy Clarkson left. Big drama at Lincolnshire Fire Service, as Fireman Sam has been axed for discouraging women from joining their ranks. Similar bans are expected for Postman Pat for putting off female postal workers, and Scooby-Doo for women who want to be evil fairground caretakers. Emmerdale star Asan Enji has been sensationally sacked by bosses for allegedly threatening Jamie Lomas, star of rival soap Hollyoaks. The actor is now expected to give up acting altogether by joining EastEnders. Meanwhile, Tom Watson broke ranks with Labour on the need for a second referendum. Now, we'd like to take time to explain Labour's position on Brexit, but I'd also like to live long enough to see my kids go to university and walk my daughter down the aisle. And finally, David Cameron has released his memoirs, For the Record, exclusively serialised in the Times and the Sunday Times. Now, I've got to say, they're a cracking read. I'd love to quote from his chapter about Boris Johnson, but I've decided to continue working in broadcasting instead. Now let's introduce our guests. We have a man who has ruled the airwaves for over 4 decades, which is strange because Wikipedia says he's 38. It's broadcasting legend James Whale.
Thank you. I'm 36, so I get it wrong all the time.
And he wears it very well.
Thank you.
Joining him, and of course age is another big question mark on this occasion, a lady who is the queen of showbiz and indeed the author of this rather enjoyable new book, Tales from the Red Carpet. It's our own Lizzie Cundy.
Hello, and I hope you've read my book, Mark.
Of course I am. I can't wait for the film, actually.
Great. Yeah, it's coming soon.
Starring,
she's very
who's
upset.
it going to be?
She's very upset because she's worried she's not going to get her free TV licence next year.
Right.
Harsh but fair. Representing Operation Yellowhammer, he's better known as Ricky the... Will you please behave? He is better known as Ricky the Remainer on James Well Breaks the News, another marvellous show that comes from this studio. It's the sublime Ricky Freelove.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Joining him, for a little bit of balance, one of the funniest and most opinionated men in the media, a top columnist who I think quite likes Brexit, Andre Walker.
Big fan of Brexit. I love it.
Just a bit.
Hey, you know, if the Brexit famine comes, I'll lose the weight.
It's a very, very good point. You're praying for a no-deal Brexit.
Absolutely.
Just to get a couple of notches off your belt. OK, let's kick off with round one. OK, well, this round is called Stop the Press, and each panellist has the opportunity to select their favourite story from the papers this week. So what's the story, James?
Fired Man Sam. Right?
Okay,
Fireman
nicely
Sam
done,
has
nicely
been
done.
fired as a mascot for the fire service because he's too male.
Right.
And you know, people like me are getting a very hard time.
So this has grinded your gears a little bit.
Well, it's
because
just absolutely stupid, isn't it? Absolutely pathetic.
Well, are we saying that actually, if you had to choose someone to remove the fire from your house with a big extinguisher and a hose, it should be a man? Are we saying that actually it's okay for some industries to be male skewed?
No, well, you could say that, actually, depending whether or not, and it doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman, and I look at the police sometimes and wonder how some of them get in because they're not as big as they used to be.
No, it's true.
And as tough as they used to be. A fire person, all right, a fire person must be able to run up a ladder, sling another human being over their shoulder and run down the ladder again. And if you can do it, Lizzie could do it to
I
me.
can do it.
Do you want to demonstrate?
Yeah. Well, actually, maybe not in this dress, if you don't mind.
Why?
There's a reason.
Oh, yeah, because you said you got no underwear on, but...
Lizzie, what's caught your eye?
Well, I love this story because I've actually done it myself. A man steals milk float after binge. A drunk who stole a milk float to get home was chased down the street by a milkman as he got away on his float. He was only going at 10 miles an hour, but this guy got caught. He's been banned actually for 26 months.
Good.
And I actually... No, but
banned him for
listen,
longer. He could have killed somebody.
A few drinks. He was
He
going
could have
at 10
run
miles
over
an hour.
somebody's cat.
Okay. But actually, to his credit, at least he was going below the city centre speed limit of 20 miles an hour. So at least he was going slowly.
And he did stop off and put a few milk bottles at the people's houses as he went along.
A vigilante
He did his job
milkman.
for
Couple of
him.
Greek yogurts, some orange juice maybe?
Exactly. I actually did do this once.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, no, I was only young.
Cundy, you should be ashamed
I
of
was
yourself.
only young and my friend jumped on. We were too light to get it started. You have to be quite heavy to
I'm
do that.
surprised about that. You've been too late.
Well, it's worth pointing out that giving Lizzie a story about milkmen is taking our lives into our own hands. But we survived, just about intact.
Ernie the milkman. No, but I do find this quite funny.
There was another story this week about how Sainsbury's are going to bring back glass milk bottles. Are we for that?
I am.
I love
It's
it.
old school, isn't it?
Yeah, I like a good glass bottle that you can use for other things.
With,
What's your bomb?
But you remember at school you had that thick cream at the top and you couldn't get the straw through and it was
Yes.
like warm.
Did
you like that?
No,
What thick rim.
the thick bit at the top of cream.
And there you go. That was a trip down memory lane with Lizzie and James. Now, Ricky, what would you like to tell us about?
I've got a story here about a brick collector who actually is the reason I admire James so much that he just refuses to retire. Talk Radio keep asking him to retire and he keeps saying, no, I'm going to go on forever.
Like John Burko.
It keeps going on. This chap called Mark Cranston
This
is
is very
from...
ageist, so may I actually register a complaint about this
Definitely.
now to HR?
The whole of this show will go to HR
Yeah.
and that'll be it for all of us.
Please do. Well, this chap was retired young. He's a former copper. He's 56 from Jedburgh in Scotland, and he's going around collecting bricks.
It's pronounced Jedburgh.
Jedburgh?
Yeah.
Well, this chap's going
These
around...
university graduates, they know nothing.
No, really don't, but I will eventually retire. Well, this chap, he's going round...
Sooner rather than later, probably.
He's going around demolition sites looking for bricks to collect, to add to his collection. He's currently got 3,500 of them, and he's hoping to launch his own museum. Apparently his wife tolerates it. I've got a lot of admiration for the wife as well.
Yes.
That's like an extremely boring Fred Dibner, isn't it?
But they've all got their own stories, apparently. He's got a drainage tile from 1833 and another one from a guillotine block as well.
Right.
It's Friday night talk radio. This is absolutely sparkling, isn't it?
It's perfect.
But listen, I've got your winner. Listen to this. Sean Ryder, I bit a dog as Posty on LSD. Rock legend Sean Ryder says that he was sacked as a postman for biting a dog after taking LSD.
I really think that's disgusting.
Yeah, I love dogs.
Absolutely
Well,
disgusting.
because you're obviously a bit of an animal lover, is that right,
I
James?
prefer animals to humans, and I hope I never hear his name again.
But of course, that assumes that this story is true and he wasn't just on LSD.
Well,
when
I
he
hope.
made up the story.
I hope it
Well, I'll
wasn't.
tell you what I took from that story is that Sean Ryder dabbled in drugs. Who knew? Marvellous. Well, our next round is called Fake News. It's terribly simple. I will read some stories from this week, which have been major stories, but you guys have to choose if they are true or false. Strong and Stable, you're up first. Is this one true? Monopoly have released a feminist version of their iconic game. What do you guys think? James, Lizzie?
I think it's true.
Yeah. Now, why do you think it's true?
Because the world's gone mad. PC potty, and it is. I can just imagine this now. And it makes me crazy. It's like the fun police have come in and stopped everything. We've got to do things. So
I don't actually understand. I mean, it is a true story, but I don't actually understand how Monopoly is sexist. It's all about streets
And
and
names.
property.
Well, I wonder whether the idea is global finance is very male dominated. If you think about hedge funds, you think of greedy male bankers, don't you? And the idea, and by the way, it's the right answer, so well done, Hasbro is saying that it will teach children about the gender pay cap and it's there to celebrate women in business. I mean, Lizzie, you're a businesswoman.
I am a businesswoman,
Do
and I
you
believe.
need one?
No, I believe that women should have equal rights as men. I am a real feminist, but this has gone potty. It's teaching the wrong things.
Surely Monopoly was sexist because it had the top hat and an old boot. If you're going to guess which gender those were.
There is a high heel in there as well, isn't
Is
there?
there?
Yeah.
Is there a
There's
stiletto?
a stiletto
Yeah.
heel. And the old boot could be the mother-in-law.
Well, I tell you what, I think that I'm going to big up the idea of feminism and say that our only female panellist tonight is a true icon of feminism.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely
you've had
she
an
is.
amazing independent career as a showbiz journalist, including on Talk Radio, the author of a fabulous new book, and also she made a lot of money divorcing a rich ex-footballer. So
Not
really-
quite so true, that
No,
bit.
no,
But
no.
anyway.
now we love you, Lizzie.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's next? Let's have a look at this one. KFC have launched a dating app. True or false?
That'd be a great place to go on a date. I can meet you there, couldn't I?
I'll tell you what, I'd be well up for that. You know, a bit of finger licking.
I wondered how long that would take. Special sauce, Ricky?
Oh, very much so, yes. Spicy as well.
What do you reckon?
Lemon and herb.
You can't say that about KFC.
Oh, that's Nando's, isn't it? That's Nando's. A date in Nando's would be great. The problem is, obviously, with Nando's, what with it being quite spicy, if you were to touch it, well, it's just a bad idea, isn't it, really?
Yes, indeed.
I think that can't possibly
I
be
don't
true.
think it's true either, but it's a great idea.
And also, do you think if you had a very low self-esteem, you would use the app created by Chicken Cottage, who are like the sub-brand
hang on,
of
hang on,
KFC,
you've
for
got-
people with a really low self-esteem?
But you've got Grindr and Tinder. Is this going to be like Fryer? That'd be superb. Fryer.
Do you think they'd have to have, you know, the thumbnail for someone's face? It just had to be wider just to accommodate the sheer layers of fat. I'm going to push you for an answer, true or false?
No, it's definitely false. It's
False.
got to be false.
Well, I'm afraid you're wrong.
Yes.
It is true. The
I knew
game
that.
features a sexy, hunky version of Colonel Sanders that you have to seduce, and it's basically a bit of a clever game app. It's a bit of marketing, but it's obviously worked, so well done, KFC. Is this one true or false? Jeremy Corbyn has promised to pay bin men £50,000 a year.
Oh, I reckon he might have done. He
Sort
might
of
have
socialist
done. He might have
vision
done.
that everyone
hang
has,
on.
isn't it?
They're not called bin men anymore, aren't they? Called like refuge executives, because there's that title inflation that goes on these days, isn't there? Right, I reckon that they are refuge executives on 50,000 a year. I say yes.
Refuge. All right, so what? They've got a
I
brief
think
of
it's-
immigration now as well.
I think it's
They're
because
having
of
to
his
gather up
name.
Syrians.
I think it's
See-
because of his name. He's
Okay.
going to Corbyn.
I see.
Very
Corbyn.
clever, James.
So I
Quality.
think it's going to be bin lorries with Corbyn lorries written along the side.
Well, Corbyn is strong in its quality, but I can tell you that it's a fake bit of news. It's not true at all. In fact, he'd like to pay them £100,000 a year. And after that undemocratic diatribe, the scores are Operation Yellowhammer, 1,000. Strong and Stable, 3,263 and a half. Okay, our next round is Headline Deadline. All you have to do is guess the missing word from the headline. It's a buzz around, so fingers on your buzzers. Let's go. Here's your first one. Tube drivers say what is damaging their hearing? Lizzie.
Wind. 'Cause
Wind?
It's windy. It's windy in the
I thought you
tube.
meant gas
No.
from their unhealthy lunches.
The wind, as you go through the tube, the wind.
Okay, yeah, wind can be deafening, can't it? It's not the right answer. Ricky,
Erotic massages.
tell me more.
Trust you to. Why do you bring
I'm
the
just
tone
thinking
of the
these
show down so low?
Tube drivers, they're very stressed out. They go for a massage and it gets a bit saucy, bit of
So,
tongue
but
in ear.
are they having a massage whilst they're at the wheel of the train? Is this your
Well,
allegation?
it's not clear that, is it? You know, you don't know where they're doing this sort of business.
By the way, I mean, it tells you that the RMT, who are the official rail union, they're very good at brokering like excellent terms for their drivers, aren't they? Not only do they get, 40, 50 grand a year, but they get a bit of an
lovely
erotic massage.
yeah.
It's not, but also the only other confusing thing is, what would this noise be from the massage? Would that be a kind of adult pleasure sound?
It'd be like late nights on German TV. Ja, schnell. That would damage your hearing.
Showing a bit too much knowledge there, Andre.
Absolutely.
Andre, you're hitting the buzzer. It doesn't work. But
Rabies.
Rabies.
Rabies will damage your hearing, I reckon.
Is that right?
I don't know. I don't
How
know.
are
If
tube drivers getting rabies?
well, if they were bothering dogs, which I've got no evidence to prove, but the show's called Fake News, so I feel able to say that.
If I thought it was possible, we've reached a new low now for the programme, which is the allegation that tube drivers in London are bothering dogs, whatever that means.
I think it's the tracks.
I've just
I think
got-
noisy tracks.
Hang on, that was my turn to answer. You hit my flipping buzzer.
No, mine's not working.
Well, then that's because you've been hitting it too hard. Leave mine
Okay,
alone.
what we can do, in very much keeping with how disputes are resolved these days, we will consult VAR. I can tell you that you're absolutely on the money because it is the tracks, the squeaky tracks, are giving them hearing problems. Okay, next headline. Babies raised with what develop better language skills?
LSD.
It's the right answer. No, it's actually not, in case parents are watching.
Pets.
Pets. Well, pets are very good for the development of children, I think, but not is the right answer. Incorrect.
Moving on from that, wolves.
Wolves.
Oh, like Romulus and Remus.
Yes.
Yeah, they did well. They founded Rome, which was a fair effort between the two of them.
They were brought by a wolf.
I think babies raised with wolves, that's very much a sink or swim situation for them.
That's right.
Some might prevail, but the
Depends
others
how hungry they
not
are.
so much.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not wolves. Any other? It's not LSD.
I was reading stories because I always read lots of stories to my little babies, even though they couldn't probably
And
understand
did you?
me.
You read stories to your
Yeah.
baby? What's
While they were
about?
in your
Well,
tummy.
the Chelsea programme.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Rio
I would,
Ferdinand's latest
Didier
girlfriend.
Drogba is the... Yeah, no, but I always taught just that, you know...
Thing.
Well, you did a good job
Contact.
because I've met your lads and they're excellent boys. They're fine young men, but it's not the right answer. In fact, the right answer is eye contact. Oh. Yes, indeed. Babies who frequently communicate with eye contact at the age of 1 will have better language skills, according to a new report. So, banker wins sexism case after what was left on her desk? Oh, Ricky.
James Whale's autobiography, available now for £3.99.
It's not.
Did I do it right?
No, it's in the
Not the
pack
right
shop.
answer, but a good plug for James's enjoyable book.
Yes.
Andre.
I actually think it was a sexual aid. I genuinely do.
It was.
I genuinely do
But
think
which
that.
one?
No, it was
Well, I
not a
don't-
sexual aid.
I mean, I can't. Am I allowed to say mamba? I don't know.
You can. What is that?
Veiny.
It's fine. Listen, it's Saturday night.
It's veiny. Apparently, that particular.
It was...
A veiny sex aid.
A veiny sex aid.
Once again, you've shown too much knowledge there, Andre. It's not a veiny sex aid.
An
I'm pleased to
outfit.
say.
An outfit of some...
Okay. No. Have you ever been subjected to sexism in the workplace, Lizzie?
I have.
Okay. And how have you handled it?
Well, very well.
Yes.
That's a Donald Trump answer, isn't it?
back to the veiny sex aid. James, any ideas? What could have been left on this lady's desk?
The bloke's phone number.
Oh, yeah.
That's not bad.
See,
That's
now,
a-
is that sexism or is that just a bit of good old-fashioned office romance?
I'm
what it
not
looks
sure that you can do that sort of thing anymore because, you know, I mean, Lizzie has been writing her phone number down and pushing it across the desk since we started tonight, and I find that slightly harassing. But I'm prepared to put up with it.
Yeah. Wasn't it like a weird, like a witch's hat or something weird? And
It
they
was
went...
a witch's hat. Is exactly right. It was a
See?
witch's hat, and
I
it
gave
was a
you the
female
answer.
city
James
worker.
did.
She won a sex discrimination case
did.
against one of the world's biggest banks. She's likely to win £4 million
Well
in the
done,
settlement.
James.
Million quid.
Well
Before
done,
we move
James.
on, I
Well.
should tell you, Lizzie, that your broomstick's just by the green room.
Oh,
So,
fantastic.
Whoops. Now, that round was so badly done, a court in Scotland is deciding if it was even legal. And with that, the scores are Strong and Stable, 8,437,000. Operation Yellowhammer, 5.
Only
A proper drubbing. It's time
Only
for a
5.
short break. These guys need a cup of tea. I need my medication. We'll be back with more big laughs and virtue signalling after this. Welcome back to Fake News. I'm delighted to say that I'm still Mark Dolan, and failing to represent public opinion continue to be James Whale, Lizzie Cundy, Ricky Freelove and Andre Walker. What a lineup. I mean, just imagine if we had a budget for guests. Wow. Now, as usual, you can hear us on Talk Radio, but you can also watch us on Facebook and YouTube. And I'm pretty sure if you're doing that, you'll be freeze-framing on Andre quite a lot because you're looking particularly good tonight.
I'm feeling radiant tonight, let me tell you.
You are getting it done. Okay, let's crack on with the show. Our next round is called Non-Stop News. In this round, our panellists are given 30 seconds to vent their spleens about a particular story or individual that's in the news. They mustn't pause, hesitate, or repeat themselves. I'll award points for my favourites. So, James, you're up first, and I'm going to give you the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson.
The Prime Minister Boris Johnson, I think, is a much maligned character. Now, he is funny and he is entertaining, but he's also super intelligent. And interestingly enough, he has been given so much stick over the past couple of weeks for doing what we want somebody to do. Get us out of this Brexit fiasco. But unfortunately, our Parliament seems to be rammed full of rather stupid, idiotic and fairly cowardly people.
With idiotic, we will say that was a 5-star effort. James Whale, excellent work.
Well done, James.
Luscious Lizzie, I'm going to give you the Duchess of can't remember where, Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle, once a friend of mine, met quite a few years ago before she met Harry. We got on like a house on fire, became really good chums. And then she sadly ghosted me when she did get with Harry, me and Piers Morgan. Now, I really was so delighted when she married Harry. I thought she was going to be the next Princess Diana. But sadly, I think things have gone quite wrong. I don't believe that royals should lecture on politics. I don't think they should edit magazines and Vogue and lecture on like saving the planet and taking 4 jets.
There you go. That was an excellent effort from Lizzie.
It's appalling. What are you talking about? That was absolutely Republican.
Well, only because you disagree, James, but that's the magic of talk radio. It's all about opinions. And I think what we learned from that, if anything, was ghost Lizzie Cundy at your peril.
Well, I'm a bit worried about getting home now.
Good luck with that. Okay, next up, Ricky, I'm going to give you Strictly.
Yeah, so I think Strictly is effectively the middle-aged person's swingers club that they get to view from the comfort of their own home. It's become a soap opera that it's not about the dancing anymore. We're all waiting to see who's going to cop off with who. We love the drama. We love the romance. The dancing is just a bit on the side that no one actually has any time for.
There's a lot of a bit on the side.
It's the new 50 Shades of Grey for middle-aged women. It's no longer a dance show, and I've got no time for it.
Time's up. Angry, bitter, but 100% right. Well done, Ricky. Andre, I'm going to give you the leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn.
Jeremy Corbyn is a beardy weirdy who believes in every type of diversity other than diversity of opinion. He's not a vegan, I don't call him that. He's a carniphobe who doesn't drink. You know what? If he had a steak and a beer, he'd probably be in a much better mood. And my final point is this. The only reason that he's looking good at the moment is because people are angry with Boris Johnson. If we banned every single politician that end up in court for lying to a queen, nobody would do anything.
There you go. And on that note, Andre Walker, you've closed off our 30-second rant very effectively. And who knew? All Boris Johnson needs to do is try to keep people like James Whale on side, and all that Jeremy Corbyn needs to do is have a sausage and he'll be less left wing. Welcome to the crazy world of fake news. At the end of that round, the scores are somewhat surprising because I can tell you Strong and Stable are on 388. Operation Yellowhammer cruising ahead with 1.3 million.
Wow! Well done.
Who knew it? It was your anti-vegan rant that did it. Okay, now our next round is called the 5-second challenge. Careful, James. This is one for the attention deficit generation. Our panelists have to name 3 things related to something in the news. It's a buzzer round, so fastest finger first. And I'm looking for 3 things about the aforementioned Fireman Sam.
Pale, male and stale.
Correct. Which, coincidentally, I believe are the 3 words on your Tinder profile. Is that right? 3 words about Tony Blair. Lizzie.
Smarmy, a liar, and former MP.
Okay, well, that's good. Got kind of quite polite towards the end. Let's have 3 reasons to stay in Europe. Okay. At that point, talk among yourselves.
We're better together.
Oh,
Hey?
too late.
Hey?
Come on. I've got to say, even Britain's highest profile Remainer was lost for words there. Reasons to stay.
That's a worry.
Trying to fit it into 3 words, there's just so many reasons.
I love it. He's been in the fake news studio for 15 minutes, and we've turned you into a frothing Brexiteer.
Ricky, well
I just love it.
Come on,
Well
come
done.
on.
I think Ricky is
Give him that
Ricky is
massage.
within minutes of slouching on a chaise longue, and wondering how many of your kids you're going to send to Eton.
Hang on. Because chaise longue is European, surely it's big bench.
Yes,
Yeah.
good point, by
Gotta
the
go for
way.
the English version.
Very, very good point.
And actually, it wasn't a chaise longue anyway, was it? I mean, it's a bench.
Name 3 members of the Brexit Party.
Nigel Farage, my dad, and my mum.
Yes, that would probably do it. That's pretty much the shadow cabinet. Time's up, and with that libelous diatribe, here are the final scores. On 877 points, Operation Yellowhammer. Well done. Decent, solid, but roaring into first place on 8,377 points. It's strong and stable. Well done,
can I
guys.
say? Yes,
Well done.
Yes, indeed. Many thanks to my fantastic guests who have been as entertainingly reckless as Dominic Cummings after a couple of bottles of moonshine in a House of Commons bar. See you next Saturday at 10 for more fake news. I've been Mark Dolan. Goodbye.